Today on the net, net users comment upon the US strategy in Yemen. Charges dropped against a Blackwater militia in the US, the web reacts. And a site offers users virtual participation in the Dakar rally raid. In Yemen, thousands of soldiers have been deployed in the south of the country as part of a large-scale anti-Qaeda mission. The Middle East's poorest nation is today accused of being the new haven for international terrorism. This blogger recalls, however, that Yemen has been a terrorist haven for several years already. He points out that Al-Qaeda has already planned and carried out 5 attacks there since 2000, including one that Osama bin Laden himself claimed responsibility for. This researcher from the French International and Strategic Relations Institute declares here that by waging war on Yemen, the US is mainly trying to justify the increased funding allocated to the war on terrorism. The Obama administration is saying, we know Al-Qaeda cells are not only located in Afghanistan and Pakistan. There is reason to believe we must also focus on other regional fronts. A strategy denounced by this video blogger who compares the situation in Yemen to those in Iraq and Afghanistan. He criticizes the attitude of the Obama administration, which continues, in his opinion, to inflame the region.
Barack Obama need to and must say that this is not what he campaigned for. Now that requires courage on his part to do this. He has not shown the courage to really go against the far right, or the so-called conservative.
Last week, the US justice system dropped charges against 5 Blackwater agents. The men, employed by the private security company in Iraq, were accused of having opened fire on a crowd during a mission in Baghdad in September 2007, killing 17 civilians. And the reaction by the Iraqi authorities quickly manifested itself. As explained by this blogger, Blackwater and all its current or former employees are now banned from Iraqi territory. This former Iraqi journalist and blogger expresses his disappointment with the American decision. In his post, he mentions many testimonies indicating that Blackwater employees allegedly shot civilians on sight that day, action he feels should have been punished. A point of view not shared by this US video blogger. He esteems Blackwater employees to be highly trained professionals who would have had good reason to act the way they did.
How do you know for sure that they weren't the enemy? I mean, these guys, they're not just shoot happy, okay? These are professionals.
This extract of a documentary available online looks back at the judicial blurring surrounding the actions of Blackwater employees in Iraq. A documentary which explains that the hired soldiers were not accountable to anyone, contrary to members of the military. But as recalled by this lawyer, the only way to instill a sense of responsibility among foreign troops in the country would be to lift the immunity granted to all US personnel present on Iraqi soil. US police have managed to localize a fugitive, wanted since 2007, thanks to his addiction to the very popular online video game World of Warcraft. Following an inquiry, police asked the game's publishing house to supply information about the individual, such as his IP address, data which led the investigators to Canada, where the man was finally arrested and extradited. With the Dakar rally raid currently underway, fans can also take part in this famous race online. On virtualdakar.com, players must drive in the same conditions as the real drivers during a virtual race. Net users must therefore log on each day at the same time as the drivers, an adventure almost as intense on the web as in real life. What would happen if the Super Mario video game character took on Pac-Man in a virtual world? Well, for the creator of this 2D animation, there would be a merciless combat with no holds barred.